everybody. Today we're going to be making a half circle skirt with an elastic waistband. So the first thing we're going to do is go to By Hand London's website. They have a circle skirt application on there that helps you so you don't have to do the pesky math. So you put in all your information, and I did my waist measurement an inch smaller than my actual waist, and that's because we are using stretchy fabric and elastic and you want it to be able to stretch. I will say though, it does not fit over my hips because I did that, so if you would like it to fit over your hips, then just do your normal waist measurement. So then you're going to take your fabric and you're going to do the measurement for the waistband that it says. For me, it was 7 inches, so I'm just going to put that in my fabric, which is folded over itself. So under it, there is another piece of fabric. And I made those edge lines because I'm going to be cutting off the edges. So then measure down to what your length is going to be. Mine is going to be 27 inches. And remember that you are hemming the top of it, but I will not be hemming the bottom of my skirt. So now go from the waist measurement all the way down, 27 inches all the way around, and that just gives you your length radius. Now that you've got all your lines, I've got a rotary cutter and a cutting board. I'm just gonna set them on there and connect the dots. Unfortunately, my board is not gigantic, so I have to move it as I go. And if there are any uneven spots, just take your rotary cutter and cut them off. I'm going to cut off this end because it's got some weird glue lining on it. And then I'm cutting off my other edge because it keeps rolling, and I feel like if it's a fresh cut line, then maybe it won't roll so much. Now we're going to cut out our waistband. Mine is 3 inches wide, and then my waist is 23 inches for this, but I'm doing 25 inches just so that I have some extra working room as I sew everything. Now we're going to take the waistband we just cut out and we're going to roll it in half, and then all of our raw edges are being put together. So the raw edge of the waistline of the skirt and the raw edges of the waistband that we just made are all being pinned together. You're only doing this on one half of the skirt that we have cut out. So now that we've gotten to the end, we're gonna fold it in half and we're gonna put our other piece on top of that. Now just pin that in so that all of your pins are on the same side when you're sewing, so you don't have to try and reach funny ways to try and pull them out as you sew. Penny is very enthusiastic about my sewing. Now, something that I do with stretchy fabric, which by the way you should be using a ballpoint needle, is I test my stitching before I start on my piece. Sometimes stretchy fabric can pucker really easily, so I have a zigzag stitch on my widest setting, and now I can check that it is not puckering and that it is still stretching and that we are good to go once I sew my actual skirt. So now that we've checked, we're just going to connect our waistband to the waist section of our skirt. do that zigzag stitch all the way down. And I'm going to be using that same zigzag stitch on everything I sew on this skirt. Now after you've done the full zigzag down, do the zigzag on the edges, and this just seals your edges. If you have an interlocking machine, then use that, but I don't have an interlocking machine, so I just do a zigzag all the way down. And as you can see, it is not the most beautiful on the inside. I could have taken a little more time to make it look a little nicer, but my theory is I am the only one looking at the inside of this. So if you are worried about it looking as professional as possible, take a little more time. My concern is more that it does not fall apart. So I am okay with having 3 wonky lines to make sure that it all stays together. So now you're just going to take a piece of elastic and you're going to make it the length of your waistband. And then you're going to put a safety pin on one end. And you're going to use a straight pin to connect the other end to the edge of the waistband, and just make sure that it is secure so that if you pull on it, it doesn't just go inside the waistband. So now stick that safety pin into your waistband and start scooching it all the way through. Once you get to the end, pull it out, stick the 2 sides together, make sure that they aren't rolling. Pin them together, and then we will sew them together with our same zigzag stitch. Now we have a complete waistband and some sweet slits on the sides. So if you don't want your full thigh exposed, then we're going to connect the 2 sides. So turn all of your fabric inside out so that your right sides are facing each other. And then we are going to pin our side seams, waistband and all. Just make sure that your waistband is laying the way that it will lay on your body. Do the same thing on the other side. Magic. Now you're going to sew those 2 things. You're going to do the same thing you did on the waistband. You're going to do 1 zigzag line all the way down, and then you'll do another zigzag on the edge just to seal all your edges. Again, if you have an interlocking machine, use that. Otherwise, just do a zigzag, 2 lines all the way down your skirt. This just makes sure that your skirt does not fall apart. Do that on both sides. You are literally sewing from the waistband to the edge. And I am not putting a seam on the bottom of my skirt, so if it's a little uneven, just use your rotary cutter or any scissors you have and even them up. I find this fabric does not really fray on the bottom. I've made another one like this and I've washed it and it's a-okay, so I just leave it unsewn because I think it looks better. And this is our final product. We've got a stretchy elastic band half circle skirt. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next one.
What? You've always got to be in the shot.
Nobody really says it after Christmas, right? But then again, how soon is it? You know. Like Happy New Year. People say Happy New Year, you know, on the day, after the day, maybe a week after the day. But if you're saying like Merry Christmas a week after Christmas, people are like, what's wrong with that guy? Has he been in a bunker? I think his calendar's a little off.